as real as it gets.
This is Nash Gruner, the son of Olivia Gruner, and you are listening to the UCW radio show, In Your Face.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio.
In your face.
Give it to me, baby.
All right, welcome to the UCW radio show, and we have another great guest that's going to be coming on the show momentarily. I just want to remind all our listeners to make sure to check out one of my new shows. Well, it's not a new show. It's just the 2014, we'll call it season, of Money Never Sleeps. We're talking about anything and everything that impacts the flow of money anywhere in the world. We're going to be talking about, we do speak about real estate, private equity, venture capital, technology, so on and so forth, and the movers and shakers out there. So you want to check that out, and make sure you check out the Money Never Sleeps magazine that comes out every quarter, and you can find all this stuff out at ucwmagazine.com. Now, I know that a lot of people love to laugh. They love comedy. And you probably know Last Comic Standing. It's a great show on NBC, and it's been getting international recognition over the years. And this year, they are actually stepping up the game with bringing on some serious comedians. And these guys are funny. And one of the funniest of the bunch, we're going to bring on the show in a minute. He's been on tours with Drew Carey to support the troops. He's been doing so much stuff, and we're going to get into all that stuff in a minute. Okay, so you know what? Let's just bring him on the show. Without further ado, let's bring on one of the most seriously funny guys out there that I've come across, Rocky LaPorte. All right, Rocky, welcome to the UCW radio show. How are you?
I'm doing good, my friend. How are you, Lou?
Pretty good. Actually, I'm doing better than you've been. You've been busy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good busy, though, Lou. You know, it's really good.
Yeah, I went into it earlier, and you don't know this, but you're going to know it now. I just let the listeners know, you're on the last comic standing, but the reality is, this show that you're on right now is only at the tail end of what you've been doing all these years.
Yeah, it's 26 years of, like people are just starting to get to know me after 26 years, and it's great. And I'm in the top 5 of Last Comic Standing, and I didn't even have to sleep with Roseanne.
Nice. I'm sure she was giving you the wink.
Oh, yeah. I had to fight her off with a stick.
Yeah, she was like, "Hey, Rocky, how you doing?"
Yeah. She didn't like me at first, man. She tore me up a couple times there, and then she slowly, kind of came over and, became a fan. But in the beginning, she was kind of rough on me.
Well, you got to expect her to be rough, especially, if she's looking for something more out of you. And that's where it becomes interesting with the judging. I think when they're rougher on people is because they expect something more out of them.
Yeah. I think you're right, but then there was some guys that were on before me that, like, their sets, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but, I mean, their sets weren't that good, and she was going, "Oh, like, what a great writer, and you're really funny," and these guys were pretty much doing, like, pretty, like, basic, lowbrow humor. And then I thought I had a decent set, and, man, she tore me a new one,
Yeah.
But
well,
the weird thing about it, Lou, is I got more fans from it. Everybody kind of came to my aid, believe it or not,
Well, I believe it, because, look, I think what Rosie was doing, she was probably doing the reverse deal. Reverse psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Say, "Hey, good boy, you did good," and you're kind of going to be off the show soon, so hey, good boy.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Well, you have to give people a little incentive to keep going, and that's probably what she had to do.
I guess. Okay, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that. We got to be nice on the show a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you got involved in comedy. I know now you're talking to a lot of media and everything else, and I appreciate you coming on, but I really want people to know your story because, 20-somewhat years, over a quarter century, you've been doing this, and as you said, it's only now that people are taking notice. So, let's tell them, how you got involved in comedy in the first place.
Well, the weird thing, I was actually driving a truck in Chicago. I was driving a truck and working on the docks, and this is a true story. I got held up and I got shot, and then the place where I was working, they go, "We're going to put you on a better route." I started delivering to prisons. Like, how bad is your job when prison is like a better route than what you were doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Well, at least they don't have guns,
there.
right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But, and then I was delivering there, and I was delivering furniture to some malls. And there was a lady that worked, they had these Bombay stores in the mall. Mm-hmm. And there was a lady that worked there. I'll never forget her. Her name was Nancy Griffin. And she told me, she goes, "Did you ever think about being a comedian?" Like, I used to go in there all the time and make her laugh. Mm-hmm. And Lou, it was like a revelation, I swear to God. Like, it was like a light went off in my head, and like, light came down from the sky. Mm-hmm. And I went that night. There was an open mic. I started calling around, and it was the Funny Bone in Schaumburg, Illinois. And they go, "Yeah, we have open mic tonight." And I went up, and I did really good. And the guy goes, "How long have you been doing comedy?" And I go, "About 5 minutes, And he goes, "You want to come back this weekend?" And it just kind of took off from there. And this is how dumb I was. Like, when I was a kid, like, I used to watch all those guys on TV, Carlin and Cosby and Pryor. But I never thought you could do that for a living. Like, I never put that together. And then when she said, "Hey, why don't you, and I was always getting in trouble in school. I was a typical class clown and, being a screwball and always making people laugh. And I never put it together that you could do that for a living,
But, you think about it, you've been doing it for a quarter of a century. And, I guess it takes, you got to get hit in the head a little bit for things to get shaken up. But if you think about it, you didn't think about this as a career because for you weren't looking to be a comedian. So how would you think about it as, hey, I can make a living doing this?
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing about it, I used to drive this big, like an 18-wheeler, tractor trailer. Right. And whenever funny stuff used to hit, I used to pull this tractor trailer over to the side of the road and write down things that I thought were funny. Like, this was even before I became a comedian or thought about, and I don't know why. Like, it was always like I was taking notes of things that struck me funny or stories, just to amuse my friends and, tell people at, a party or a gathering. And it was weird, but it was almost like I was writing and saving this material, and it came in handy. Like, it was almost like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it was something I was supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. It's kind of like you had your own social media before social media. You were doing it with yourself, and hopefully to spread it out later.
Yeah, but how weird is that you're writing down comedic bits and you weren't even a comic or knew you were even going to be on that path,
It's interesting because, as I said, you weren't looking to do this. You were doing it because you kind of, you wanted to be funny. You wanted to make people laugh, but not for money. Mm-hmm. You just wanted to make people laugh. Go to a party, tell a joke. You get your families laughing, have your mother cracking up. You have, especially if you're married, you need your wife to laugh because happy wife, happy life, man.
That's right, brother. I remember when I was a kid. I remember being like about 8 years old, and I was at my cousin's house and all. I remember there was a lot of adults at the table, and I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but I remember I had this whole table of adults laughing like that they were crying and like banging on the table. And I remember then just thinking like, wow, like what a great thing, like what a beautiful thing to do. Like it was almost like you had this little magic power. Like you go, look what's happening here. Like I'm making all these people like cry that they're laughing so hard. And, like, I kind of knew at a young age, like, I was able to do that, but I never put it together to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to go on stage and do stand-up. But I guess your life takes you where you're supposed to go sometimes, you know?
Yeah, well, as you're going on the journey, you have twists and turns, and and you have curves, and you kind of like fall into what you're supposed to be doing with your life. And the good thing about what you do is that you have the ability to make people laugh, which, you make people laugh, you're laughing, you're actually, extending your life. So you're doing a good service. Yeah. And also it gives you the ability to pay it forward because you're out there now. Your face is out there, everything's out there. Now you can do some good with kids and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. And the other thing I like too, like, from doing it so long, like I have a nice little fan base. Like I had a nice following in Cleveland and Detroit and Chicago, like all there, like in the Rust Belt and in the Midwest. But now, like, that I'm being exposed to more people all over the country, that's nice too. I was hoping to get new fans and get a bigger following and work a little bigger venue, because I've been doing it a long time, and it's not that I deserve it or anything like that. Like, it's just always nice to reach more people, and like spread what you're doing. Well,
technology, TV, all this stuff helps. And it gets people out more and more. When you have, look, let the truth be told. You have some guys that don't deserve it, that get out there within a day from doing some retarded stuff on a reality show, and all of a sudden, hey, they're all over the place. They're superstars, But what you're doing is, and what your comedic brothers and sisters are doing, they're actually bringing some quality, some enhancement out there, because you make someone laugh. You know what? They may have been having a bad day. Who knows what they were thinking? Maybe they were thinking about, damn, I'm married all this time. My head's pounding. They hear you and they start laughing and everything's good and they have a nice evening. So you know what, man? You're right about that. Like, I've gotten a lot of like letters and emails from people saying that, you go, hey, like, my mom passed away, and then, we came to see your show, and it was just, like, I think, like, you can make a lot of people's days better, and that makes me feel better, like, when, it's all those little things, and when people take the time to just write you and say, hey, like, this happened in my life, and then I saw your comedy, and, like, it really is, it's good medicine, and it does the same for me, like, it makes me feel good, Because you're bringing value to someone's life, and there's nothing better than doing that and getting paid to do it. Because you weren't chasing this for the money. No, not at all. And in the beginning, you didn't make no money, man. I remember one time I was doing a gig in Atlantic City. I first started. I was maybe doing it like a year. Well, I think they changed the name, but it's called Bankrupt City. But go ahead. Yeah, right? Oh, my God. That poor place. And, it was Sunday, and I went to get paid, and they go, no, like, you don't get paid here. We send your check to your house in Chicago. And I was like, man, and I had to be in Little Rock, Arkansas, like, on Tuesday. Right. So I remember Monday night driving. I had a 67 Ford, and I remember I was up in the mountains. It was snowing. I was driving from Atlantic City, and I was going to Little Rock, Arkansas, and you had to go through, what is that, the Appalachians over there? Oh, yeah. Poconos, I don't know what the hell I was going through. But anyway, I was up in the mountain at nighttime. I remember I had to tear the back seat out of the Ford to get change to put in my tank to let the car run at night so I could leave the heat running, like I had to sleep in the car. Right. Like, I didn't have no money to get to the next gig. I just made it with, like, gas money, and I didn't eat for 2 days. And, I've slept in, like, dumpy motels and in airports. Like, so I think most comics that have been doing it a long time, you do it for the love, because this ain't a job where you put in 25 years and they go, hey, you're going to get a retirement, a gold watch, and a show. Like, there's no guarantee. Like, you might be a club comic the rest of your life, so you better love what you're doing. Yeah, and that's why, like, when I do my show, I love telling the story of the journey, because a lot of people don't hear this stuff. You know, what people want to hear, or when you go on the Tonight Show, Late Show, this show, that show, you know, they want to know what you're doing now and what's going on with Last Comic Standing. I'm interested in, you know, the journey, because when people know that, when they see it, when they hear about the struggle and everything, like, wow, you know what? This wasn't given to you. You earned it.
Oh, yeah, with a lot. And you know what, man? In a weird way, it kind of cost me my marriage. And a lot of guys I know that, you know, sometimes when you're away for a long time, it's hard to do. Like, you have to be a real secure person being on the road, you know. And my wife was home and with the kids, and you know that's hard too on a personal relationship.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that holds true for, you know, professional athletes. You know, and, you know, when you're away for a while, yeah, and people don't realize this too, is that, you know, if you're married and you have a family at home, when you're on the road, you're supporting two households: your home where your family is, and you living while you're on the road.
Yep, absolutely.
So when
you know what, man, the road drives you crazy. I remember, like, I met guys like Hootie and the Blowfish, the Rolling Stones, like big people, and that's where they would talk about, like, how on the road, like, that they hated it, you know, like that. I remember in this one book, I think it was Keith Richards' book, he said every night they had to talk to someone, like, every night someone was going, screw this, I'm going home. And those guys are making, like, you know, $100,000 a night apiece, you know what I mean? Like, so if that kind of money can't keep you on the road, you know it's hard, you know, like just living in hotel to hotel.
Yeah, it's hard.
You go to the venue, to the theater, to the hotel, you know?
Well, you were living from car to car, so, you know, that's tough.
Yep.
That's tough, man. You know,
Yep.
Especially, you know, you're in the cold. You have to sleep in a car because you don't have money for a hotel. You know, this is stuff that people don't realize, the struggle that happens. You know, because it's not an overnight thing, as you said. All right, but what I want to do, Rocky, I want to take a quick break, and I want our listeners to stay with us. And we're going to be back with Rocky LaPorte. We're going to talk about what you have going on now, and talk about a couple other things that you did, because I want our listeners to really get the juice out of you. So just stay with us. We're going to be right back.
This is Chef Gavin Murphy with your 1-minute healthy cooking tip. For all my fellow fitness freaks out there, eating lean, high-protein meats like chicken, turkey, or even pork loin is part of our everyday diet. I get asked all the time, how do I make chicken breast juicy and not dry and overcooked? This is how. Season the breast with salt and pepper and sear in a drizzle of olive oil in a hot pan until golden on both sides. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees and place the breasts on a foiled oven tray. Pour 1 cup of chicken broth on the tray and pop it in the oven for 6 to 7 minutes. What's going to happen is the broth will create steam in the oven while the chicken is cooking and add moisture to the meat. And that's my secret. Also, very important, guys, once you take the chicken out of the oven, let it rest for 3 to 4 minutes, and this will also keep all the juices in the breast. For more tips and information on me, go to my site, gavinmurphy.com.
Thousands of years we circled around the sun.
back to the UCW radio show. We're here with Rocky LaPorte, where we're talking about the struggles, the journey, and everything that has transpired to date with him. And we're going to get into more stuff because we really didn't touch on everything. Rocky, welcome back. We took a little break, and now we're back with you. And
thank you.
Yeah,
I feel rested from that break. It feels good.
You like that? You were stretching out. You had your coffee. You had a little something here, a little something there. Probably got a little massage. I don't know. But
hey, Lou, let me ask you something. Did you know when you were a kid that you go, hey, I want to do radio? Like, did you go, this is what I want to do?
No, I had no clue. When I was a kid, I guess my thing, just to, since you asked, my thing was, I want to take care of my mom. And that was my motivation for anything I've done.
Oh, that's nice, man.
And, when that happens, you do whatever you need to do to survive. And like
Good
you've
for
done.
you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're in the same boat. You didn't do everything you did for yourself, or you're still not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your family.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
and you grew up over in New York, Lou?
Yeah, New York, born and bred.
Good for you, man. And then you were a kid, and you go, I just want to take care of my mom, huh? You didn't know, like,
No.
You didn't go, hey, I'm going to be on the radio. I want to be
No.
a voice out there. No,
I had no clue. And it's funny, people say I have a voice for radio, and then recently somebody said, hey, you wanna do some movie stuff? I said, sure, but I guess I don't have a face for radio. I guess I have a face for something else too.
Good,
hey,
man.
that made me feel good. Like, hey, at least I'm not that disgusting looking.
No, man, you're my Facebook buddy. You're a good-looking dude there.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty. So
yes, you are, man.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the other things that you've done, and then we're gonna go into the last comic standing. You've been doing this for a while. So let's go through a couple of major events that you've had in your career so far.
Well, I remember when I was starting out, I remember I started in February of '88, and and then in March, I think it was like my 7th or 8th time on stage. It was St. Patty's Day of that same year. It was like March, whatever, 14th, 18th, whatever it fell on. And I won this little local contest, and the prize was like you flew to Vegas and you got to go on at some casino out here.
Right.
And I was like, and I remember flying on the plane to Vegas after doing comedy for like a month or so, and I knew then that my life was changing. I go, it was the weirdest thing. I go, I'm supposed to be on this path, and then I quit my day job in October of that year. Like I was driving a truck still and doing comedy at night.
You were doing the prison deliveries still.
Yeah, I was doing the prison run. Oh my God! I'm not even making this up. One time I was in a trailer with this guy. He was a convict,
Right.
He had this big thick neck and like. Can you swear on this show or no?
We can. We're good.
This is what happened. These were his actual words. So we're in the trailer, and he's asking me like how it was outside. And the guards are out on the dock, and me and him are like unloading this truck. And I go, what are you in for, man? He goes, and we're like about 3 feet from each other. He goes, my old lady. He goes, she was messing around on me. He goes, so I chopped her effing head off. And he's looking at me, and I go, women.
Yeah, what are you gonna say?
Like, yeah, well, exactly. What are you gonna say to a guy like that? I chopped her head off. I'm like, oh my God.
And meanwhile, you see, actually, that's a skit within itself because right there, I can see it right now. You turn around, women, and turn around like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going through your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord, that's funny.
So then, I got out of that, and then I remember I was only doing it about a year or two, and I went in and I got an audition to do like a small part on Cheers.
Right.
And I got the part. I was a construction worker, and I had some lines, and I got on Cheers and then the Pat Sajak show. And then they had all these little comedy shows on in the late 80s and the early 90s, like Evening at the Improv and Comic Strip Live. And so I started doing all these little cable shows, and it just started rolling, and it was fun, man. And I got to meet like a lot of cool people along the way, and I've become friends with like Brett Favre from the Green Bay Packers. Him and those guys came out to see my show, and I became friends with him, and we'd go to games up there together and to his house, and through him I got to meet a lot of people, and then I probably like the most I won a couple contests, but I remember I did the Tonight Show, and I was one of the few guys to get a standing ovation on the Tonight Show.
I mean, the Tonight Show is big. That's big. That's big time.
Yeah. That made me really happy, like that was a little feather in my cap. And Tim Allen actually saw it. He was at home in his bed watching it on television, and then he asked me to do a benefit for him, and I did it, and he got me a couple little parts in a couple movies that I didn't even have to audition for, So it was nice, like it all kind of comes back and it goes around, and now here I am. I'm doing like Last Comic Standing. And originally,
well, but you actually, and I need to say this because I know that you're kind of skipping over this, but I want our listeners to know this. You gave back. You hooked up with Drew Carey, and you went overseas for the troops.
Yeah, we did. I did 2 tours over there in Iraq to entertain the troops, and man, that's it's some. You know what the weirdest thing is about that, Lou? Like, these men and women over there, they come up to you and they sincerely mean it. I've never seen people more sincere, and they go, "Hey, thank you for coming and bringing a piece of home, over here to us, like in the middle of the desert." And we were like totally in awe. We're going, "You're the ones that are doing the sacrifice, like we get to go home in 2 weeks, like these poor guys and girls, they had to stay there for like a year or two, And they were thanking us. I'm like, man, we're here to thank you, And Drew's a great guy. Like, Drew did, I don't know how many tours. He went over there to Iraq and Afghanistan, and he's really a huge supporter to USO, But it was fun. I'm glad we did it, and it was great to do. And we got to support our people,
Yeah, you have to, and that's part of paying it forward. And that's what I said earlier in the show, that comedy. And what you're doing, and as you grow in your profession, it allows you. Yeah, of course, you're gonna do well financially. Your life's gonna get better, but it's gonna allow you to do things that that actually fulfill your life.
Absolutely. You know what, man? I really think like most comics, you get more out of doing those benefits than they do. Like it fills your heart. It's just like, holy cow,
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely imagine, especially you have people there, you have soldiers there for 6 months, a year. Some on their second and third tour, and they're there, and you bring them, as we talked about, comedy. You bring them, you kind of let them escape their environment for that little while, and that gives them the boost that they need to keep moving forward.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that, buddy.
And that's the good stuff. So now you did that, and you've done a few other shows. But then you how did you get involved in Last Comic Standing? Because that's kind of it's kind of interesting how you got involved in that.
Well, yeah, it is. You know what happened? This is I think my 4th time doing that show. Like, I think I did season 2 and 3, and I don't know if it was 4 or 5, but early on, that show, I remember the first time I went in it, I lost to a stripper. Like, this girl was like, are you kidding me? Like, you don't mind losing to a good comic, but a stripper, like, back then, and then I think another year I lost a guy in a gorilla suit. Like, they had some guy up there in a gorilla suit. And
you lost to the stripper, but, that's bad because there's no payoff with that either.
But I know, right? It was off, like, and back then they were just looking for types, like they wanted the hot chick and they wanted the sassy, loud girl, and they were just pretty much looking for types. And the show was, I don't know. It was more of a reality show than a comedy show.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't going to do it this time, but Paige Hurwitz, and who's one of the producers with Wanda Sykes,
right.
They go, no. They go, this year, like, Wanda wants to make sure that it's about the art of stand-up, and so they kind of asked me to do it, but I go, you know what, as long as there's a level playing field, as long as I'm not going to lose to a stripper, or something stupid like that, like, I'll do it. So I went in with a lot of hesitation, I go, I hope this is not a, cluster, the word,
Oh, yeah.
like it was in the past. But there was some stupid things, like some of the challenges I wasn't crazy about, but I don't know.
Well, there needs to be some stupidity there.
I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. But you know what? It was a long road, and it was a lot of work. And my whole goal the whole time, I just want to get to the top 5. I just want to get to the top 5, and that's what I got. I made it to the top 5. And now I got to concentrate on, bringing it home now.
Yeah, and now you're there, and you're getting all the accolades and recognition that you deserve. And I said this before, and I'm saying it on this show, Rocky, that there's no way in the world that any producer, any TV executive, they're putting together a comedy show, for a sitcom or something, they need to look at you, because how your bits go, they're not forced. It's just actually just you just telling stories, and you're not forcing anything, and that's what makes it more natural.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. Well, it was so funny. I had 2 development deals for a sitcom, and I had one with CBS and one with ABC. And what are the odds of this happening, Lou? Like the first deal I had, the actors went on strike, and then the second deal I had, the writers went on strike. It's like, are you kidding me?
It sounds like a conspiracy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what happened, man. And then after that, I was in L.A. for 14 years, and then, we ended up getting a divorce, and, we moved back to Chicago. Yeah, it's okay. Well, everything's good now, though. Me and my ex are on good terms, and I make jokes about her.
Yeah, of course you're on good terms, because she's not in front of your face.
Yeah, and I get to pay her all that alimony.
Yeah, that's always good. Yeah, she's happy, and you just get to tell your jokes. So, hey, it's a win-win.
Pretty much. I get to make fun of her, yeah.
Well, she gave you material.
Yep, absolutely. But it's all good now,
That's
everything's good, and yeah. And then they were all doing all reality shows, so a lot of comics left L.A. because no one was getting those, like Everybody Loves Raymond was like the last, really good sitcom like that, like in that vein for stand-ups, But now it seems like it may be coming back the other way again,
Yeah, I think they're pushing. I think, like NBC, CBS, they're pushing in that direction. They have been, and I mean, but the audience has to be there. And I think now the audience wants that, because, the reality nonsense, that brainless stuff, it's like too much. It's just too over the top.
And a lot of it was mean-spirited, like somebody was getting, voted off or punched in the head, or, you know what I mean? There was a lot of mean spirit to it,
Yeah, well, then that's, because that is what gets the viewers involved. That's like Death Race. They want to see somebody get hurt,
Yeah.
But you're doing some fantastic things out there, Rocky. And, if, as far as, a sitcom goes, and I said this to you before, I see you in a sitcom. And CBS, NBC, Fox, whatever it may be, even TBS, they were looking to get someone to be in a sitcom that would make people laugh and kind of get them inside. You would be that guy. Because it's not forced. That's the thing that drives me crazy. It's not forced, because you see comics that force, and you know this. They force it out. They try to force you to laugh.
Yep.
You just do it, and you. It's like, and I see you sometimes. It's like you're not even trying. You're just saying something, and it just sounds funny because of your personality.
I'm going to fire my agent and hire you. I like this.
Yeah, well, I think your agent should be working harder to get you on there because the reality is, with all the programming that's going out there, and there are a lot of networks out there that are looking for content, and content is king. You have Netflix, they're doing original stuff, and then you have Amazon doing original stuff. Google is going to wind up doing original stuff at some point, so there's going to be a lot of outlets, and they're going to be looking for that talent. And if your agent is listening to this show, your agent should be on the horn with somebody, anybody, everybody, and people should know. But I think what's going to wind up happening with this Last Comic Standing, I think that is going to put you in a light now, because now there's more marketing behind it. There's more, social media behind it, and it's more of a serious show right now as opposed to the stripper and the monkey,
Yeah. And I guess the ratings are good because they got picked up for next year. Like, they got an order for next year, which is good. And I guess they were winning their night, so that's good. And I think now that we're in the top 5, it's going to shake down a little different. And we got a huge tour coming up in the fall. It's like a 50-city, 2.5-month tour. It's kind of insane.
Wow.
But, yeah, we'll get into a lot of markets and, meet a lot of new people. And it'll be great. I'm excited about it,
Yeah, well, at least you're not going to have to sleep in your car. That's a plus.
Yeah, we're going to sleep on a bus now.
Yeah, exactly. You sleep on a bus. Yeah, but you know what? Those buses now, they're nice and comfy. They have the toilet on there. As long as people don't make a mess in there, then you're good.
Yeah. I hope it ain't a Greyhound. Hopefully it'll be like something decent.
Oh, my God. They put you on a piggy bus. You're going from place to place.
Yeah.
Oh, man, too much. So now, Last Comic Standing, you're in the top 5. Now, when's this airing? Is this going to be a live show?
You know what? They keep telling us different stuff every week. Like we have to go back right now. We taped some stuff, and now we're going back to go from 5 to 4. Like, we're going back this week, and then we're going to go 5 to 4 to 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
So, originally they said that they weren't going to let the audience vote, that they were going to let the 3 judges decide. They go unless NBC decides to do it at the end. But so I still don't even know. Like, that's still up in the air, I personally hope the audience does get the vote because I think I'd have a good shot like that, instead of having your fate rest in the hands of 3 people,
Yeah, but I think that now with these shows, because you see this with America's Got Talent, all this stuff, they're looking for, and you even see with that American Idol, they're looking for an act that they can market. They're looking for someone that they can market because at the end of the day, and I'm sure, I know it happens with American Idol, all these shows, that they get a piece of the action if something should happen from that show. So if that's the case, it's in their benefit to get you out there. And again, this is my opinion. At all the comics there, you're the one that makes me laugh the most. So
thanks.
You're top shelf there, Rock.
Oh, thank you. What's so funny? A couple of my friends that did the show, they told me to go, you don't want to win this show. And I go, why? They go, because you get locked down with a 1-year deal with NBC and no one's ever got anything from it. Mm-hmm. And like a couple of my friends said, like they got to do a bunch of, like they got to do Letterman and Conan. They got to do a bunch of different things on different networks where like the winner, NBC kind of had them under wraps for a year where other people kind of went off and did their own and kept the heat going,
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see that happening because they have this thing with, and I know with Jimmy Fallon, that if you don't do Jimmy Fallon's show first, you're not doing it at all. That is how they work.
He was what? Jimmy Fallon was what?
Well, on his show, if you don't do Jimmy Fallon's show first, you're not going to do it at all.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and that's the deal. I mean, because they know they have the ratings, they know they have a lot of things there, and they know that he's the man. And that's how the network works. They do the same thing with CNBC. If you don't go on CNBC first, you're not going to come on CNBC because they want the first.
Is that right?
Yep. Yep, that's how that works, But I think, win, lose, or draw, Rock, that you're gonna come out on top because your time's at hand. Okay, like Robert De Niro had tattooed on his body in Cape Fear. Okay, your time's at hand. All right.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you know what? I'm just like, I wanted to get to the top 5, and a lot of my friends said, they go, man, sometimes the runners-up do better than the winners sometimes. I mean, it'd be great to win, and, $250,000. Who wouldn't love to have that,
Sure.
After you pay your agent and, your manager and taxes, you'd have to come away with probably like $1,000 of that at least, right?
Exactly. And you can go buy yourself a Starbucks latte. You can go with the venti, and then you're good to go.
Maybe get a donut, throw a donut in there.
Oh, you're going to have to go to Dunkin' Donuts for that one.
Yeah, right.
I don't think you're not going to be able to afford the Starbucks donut at that point. Get a little pricey, But again, as I said, win, lose, or draw, I think you win anyway because you're getting the notoriety. People are taking notice again, and you haven't been doing this. It's not like you just started doing this yesterday. And I'm happy that people are starting to take notice. They're like, hey, you know what? Rocky LaPorte, yeah, this guy's funny, and I know. I'm saying this on this show, I know that you're going to be in some sort of sitcom in the near future because it makes sense. You got Fluffy guy out there doing whatever he's doing. And I remember when Gabriel, when he was doing this and he was out there, I said, this guy's funny. He's going to get somewhere. He's going to be the guy. Okay, and he got out there doing his thing. He's out there making his money, doing what he has to do. And I think that you're gonna do well off of this. And I know that's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on your own sitcom at some point so I can sit down, kick back, and say, yep, I knew it.
Thanks, Lou. I appreciate that. No. And then when we come over that way in the fall, I'll have you come out to the show. You hear? I know we're coming to New York and all that on a tour this fall.
Oh, definitely.
And I'll hook you up with some tickets, and you come out and see the show, okay, buddy?
I appreciate it. I will be there to support you, and actually I could bring some cackling friends too.
Okay,
they'll be laughing for you.
Thanks,
yeah.
Man.
All right, but listen, Rock, I know that you have a meeting, and just for our listeners to know that Rocky has a very important meeting. He's in Vegas, and he took time out to do the show today, and I do appreciate it, Rock. And
you're very welcome. I'm glad we got to touch base here.
Yeah, for sure. And then we're gonna have you on, again in the future because I want to get some updates and some feedback. I'll get the updates, but I want our listeners to get some feedback and updates when everything moves forward with Last Comic Standing and everything else that you're doing.
I would love to, my friend.
All right, beautiful. Now, before we let you go, I want you to give your website information, social media information, so that our listeners can follow you and follow your career. Because I know this is going to be on fire. That you're going to be in the movie with all those top comics, like what's his face? I think Ben Stiller did it, or I forget who did it.
Oh yeah, just don't say Dane Cook.
No! Oh my God! I think somebody got to take his finger. That guy's out of control. That's how he's out of control.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, let's get that website information.
Okay, it's Rocky ROCKY LaPorte LAPORTE.com. RockyLaPorte.com, and I have a. You know what, Lou? I wish I could get more people. I'm at 5,000 people already on my Facebook page, but I have a comedian Rocky LaPorte fan page that I put updates and people can post on there, and I write them back. And then I'm Rocky LaPorte at Twitter, and I try and write everybody back. Sometimes I can't get to them all, but I try to write everyone and keep in touch with the fans. And I honestly appreciate everybody's support. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, a lot of people are behind me on this, and they're on the ride with me. They're excited as my family and that my kids are, and that makes me happy that a lot of people are on this ride with me, including you, my friend.
Well, I'm here for the ride because you know what? The journey is the best part, not the end result. Because when you're a big super duper star and you're not talking to me anymore, that doesn't matter. Okay, what matters is what's happening now and what has happened and where you're going, because these are the stories that last beyond you. These are the things that people talk about after you're gone and everything. This is how you leave your statement on the world, and that's what it's about.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that, Lou.
You got it, Rocky. And listen, thank you again for coming on. And I want our listeners, go support Rocky LaPorte. Go to RockyLaPorte.com. Check him out on Twitter, Rocky LaPorte, Facebook, all social media. Definitely support him when he's out there performing. You see his name on a billboard, in the paper, something. Go out, watch this man. Trust me, he will make you laugh because he cracks me the hell up. He will make you laugh.
Thanks, brother.
Rocky, thank you so much.
Thank you. You too, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.